Hey guys, I'm back and today I'm going to be doing some history facts. This is basically for my school homework, but I thought why not do it into a little YouTube video. So what I'm going to be showing you guys is what it was like in the medieval towns and cities and stuff, and how people cope with everything. So I chose Minecraft because I thought what other way could I explain it better than a good old gaming session. So yeah, let's get on with it. So in the Middle Ages, this would have been like a posh type of place. This isn't fully Middle Ages, but they wouldn't have had this. They wouldn't have had stone. So in the Middle Ages, they had mucky paths, very watery, had lots of water, and they were like full of like waste. So people had just chucked, after being to the toilet, they had chucked like all their disgusting stuff onto the floor. So like this one looks good. So what it all looked like is it'll just look like this. So this is basically what it looked like. In Minecraft it's a bit different, but imagine that was real. That's what it looked like. So they were just like, oh. So what would happen is some people used to wear like high heels, men and women. So basically what it would do is they'd be able to like walk over like that. They'd be able to walk over without getting their like boots wet, so that it's like high heels, if you go what I mean. So look, high heels, right. So also in the medieval ages, villages and all that, they had like people that would just trade, and they would like sell things. So it's a bit like a villager really. They wouldn't have looked like this. They would have looked normal. Like this. They would have looked like this. And what they would have been selling is they would have been selling like, some would be selling like apples, fish, chicken, mutton. So they would like give you this for certain amounts of money. So he would be like, hello, would you like to buy my finest chicken only? And then he would say a price. Now what I would do is that people are very poor in these times, so they only have like worth like, I don't know, like 100 quid maybe, some people. And yeah, so basically you pay and then you get the food. So yeah. And also, so roaming around, there would be so many animals around. So there'd be some animals like these would just be wandering around everywhere. Pretend these are ducks and chickens, and then pigs would be going everywhere, snorting and all that. And it'd be a very mucky place to be. So imagine it was just like this. It was so cramped, mucky, water everywhere, and then you just have to squeeze past. Oh, but you got your high heels on, so it wouldn't matter, but you'd still get all mucky, lots of diseases, all of that. Also, yes, that's basically it. Really, for what would be in a medieval village trading time. They usually had like trading, so they traded and sold about every day, and at dawn they would like close the gates, so they'd warn you and then close the gates. Now here's some other facts. So let's say I'll be there we go, I'll be this guy. So I just have, here we go, right. So basically what would happen in the Middle Ages, medieval times, all of that. So what would happen is basically, so there'd be this guy called he was called the town crier, and basically what he would do is you would just go up to the top of your like stairs, and then you would say, "Hee yee, hee yee, hee yee, there's a pickpocket on the loose. Everyone, keep your valuables with you and remember to catch this thief. If we catch him, we will chop off his hand." And so basically, people when they were caught, it was not very nice because you might be executed, but the thing is, you might just be mutilated. So mutilated, basically. So let's say, gotta find it right here. Right here, right. So basically, mutilated. Let's pretend that is a hand, okay? That is a hand. It doesn't look like a hand, but that can be a hand. So basically, a hand would have been chopped off, and then sometimes they would have just hung it at the doorway, so then they would maybe get get the thieves or the pickpockets away. So there'd be hands, and then they would just not come. That's basically what the town crier was for. He announced the news, and he announced what was going to happen and what was happening right then. He was basically, because they didn't have newspapers, he was basically their newspaper. Other things about the Middle Ages. Right, so, in the Middle Ages, there would always be a king. There would always be a king of the place. So let's just find... Alright, so skim pack. I think it's this one. Right, so basically there'd be a king, and he was just not very nice, and he would just he would just be he would give you permission sometimes to use stuff. So if you asked to hunt in his woods, he would have to give you permission to for mining, getting woods, all of that. He would be in charge of the whole thing. He would give some special people permission to he would give special people permission to leave the village and run their own village. So sometimes in the medieval times things would look like this. So this is like a castle, you could say. It's like a castle. It's a bit like a Motte and Bailey castle, but it's not fully. So now we're getting into the Normans, but medieval ages. The king would just be there, and he would live up here. So yeah, he would just. Oh wait, one sec. He would just be like this. Oh, I do love being a king. Ho ho. Oh, that's yeah. So basically, it'd be like that. Not really, but he'd rule everything. Sometimes he'd walk around. He would give permission to people who wanted, to mine, because basically, all the forests were the king of the whole country. He owned all the forests, but then he gave permission to some brave warriors from when they fought battles, and then they would organize an army for the king. So basically it all worked in one whole pyramid. So the most important person would be the king, and then his most trustful people, like barons. So that would be like what I am. So I'm a king, but I'm not like a king of the country, but I'm a king of this place. So he'd be like one of the king's most important men. He'd run like a village, and he would just keep things running and everything. And there'd be other people that go lower down until it's peasants, but guards would be pretty low down. You would think guards are really high, but actually they're pretty low in the list. So that's basically how it went. So basically a king just ruled a certain place, and then he'd give permission for people to use chop down trees, all of that. So, yeah. Oh, what also would happen is if you come over here, you would also have maybe, not necessarily, but sometimes, maybe like the King of England, he might have like a dungeon, like a big dungeon in his castle. So, well, this could be turned into a dungeon by putting iron bars. So that could be a dungeon. Then what would be here is you just go down and down and down. And then you'd be at the king's headquarters. So the king would just sit here, enjoy a nice talk. And then, so if someone was going to ask for permission, there'd be like, so pretend this was someone asking. They'd go up the stairs and say, they'd bow. And then we would like ask for permission. And yeah. And if no, they probably wouldn't, but they could have got burnt maybe. And yeah, so there's a whole lot more to what I'm explaining. Like, so now what I'm going to go into are the punishments. So the punishments if you were like caught doing something. So one of the punishments was, so you'd be tied up, hands, legs, all of that. You'd be tied up and you'd be put in the water. If you floated, you'd be killed. But if you went underwater, you sank, that meant that you weren't like to be killed, you were innocent. But the thing is, most people couldn't swim at that time. So what would happen is you would just drown anyway. So yeah, that was like the first one. That was a punishment. Not too bad. I mean, you could die, but it wasn't as gruesome. Yeah, this is a punishment you probably wouldn't die for, but you would just get hurt. So it'd basically be like this, kinda, and you'd have your arms and feet locked in, and basically people would just throw like tomatoes and stuff at you, and then you would bread and everything. The priests, though, if they had committed a crime, they got it easy, because what happened to the priests in that day is so if you just like, if you got some bread, here, bread, priests, they would just have to stand somewhere. They would just eat their bread, just eat a loaf of bread. But if you coughed, that means you'd be executed, because you were, well, God didn't want you to live, if you get what I mean. And you'd usually, well, not always, but usually you'd be executed on a big mountain and then like hung up so people could see you. Yeah, that's pretty much all the punishments, really. I mean, there are a lot more, but it's better just looking on the internet than coming to me. So, yeah, that's basically all the punishments, all what you did and everything. So, yeah, thank you for watching this Middle Ages video. Remember to like, subscribe and comment, and let me know what you thought of the video. And if you haven't subscribed already, remember to subscribe, because when we hit 60 subscribers, Comet1910 will create a, well, she has created a YouTube channel, but we'll create videos of like my 50 sub world and stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And can I just say thank you, Sean Daniels, for getting me to 58 subscribers. That has been a lot of help. So yeah, bye.